All right, well, welcome to our class tonight on Personal Care Unlocked. I have been really excited about this class because I sometimes have involved with do a lot of things, and I think, doesn't everybody know how to do this? And somebody will say something to me, or two or three people will say something to me and say, I'm not really sure how to make my own toner, or how to make my own face moisturizer, or any of that kind of stuff. And so I thought this would be a great class to do. So I'm PJ Hanks. I am a trained aromatherapist, and I love sharing essential oils with people. And tonight we're going to talk about how to use those essential oils to actually make some of our own recipes. So the thing at the very end, you'll want to pay attention. I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint here in a minute, and I pay attention because at the end I'll give you a link so that you can go and fill out a form, and I will email you a 9-page ebook of recipes for you to use in making your own personal care products. So you'll want to stay to the end and get that link so that you can request that ebook. We are going to go over some of the recipes tonight, but it won't have all of the ones that are in the ebook because obviously we don't have all night, right, to go through all those. And the other thing is I always end up kind of going off script, so to speak, and I will probably tell you maybe of one or two other things that I make as it comes to my mind. So be prepared for that. But I don't want you to feel like you have to take a picture of every recipe, because you don't. They're all in the ebook. So you can just sit back and relax and enjoy tonight. And what I really want to encourage you to do, which is what I encourage everyone for every single one of my classes, is to just take a breath. If you have an essential oil around you, go ahead and put one on and just relax, and let's enjoy this time together and really learn to listen to yourself. And your own body, or maybe you've had a friend ask you about something. And so if I go through a recipe and you're like, I really need to make this, then please pay attention to that, because your body's going to speak to you, your heart's going to speak to you tonight, and I want you to know that you should listen to that. Okay, so I'm going to switch and share this screen here and bring up my PowerPoint. If you need any clarification during the class, feel free to just type in chat, and I'll try to catch those. And at the end, after the recording, I will open it up for question and answers as well. So let me go ahead and share this, move your picture out of the way here, and we'll go into present mode here. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that, and I'll move all of you out of the picture there. All right, so thumbs up, Barbara, if you can see the PowerPoint on your computer. Awesome, good. So tonight we're going to talk about Personal Care Unlocked. And what that means is, what are some things we can do to naturally take care of ourselves personally? And so let's talk a little bit about that. But first, let's talk about why we want to go more natural. So do-it-yourself personal care is becoming really popular as people are realizing the benefits of using natural products on their skin and their hair. And then making it can be much more simple, affordable, and actually rewarding and fun, especially if you get some friends together and make it together. But I want to tell you why I am really serious about making my own or using more natural ingredients to do my personal care. Is one time when I was at my dermatologist, and I was having some issues with my lips. And so he said, here, I'll have my assistant put something on your lips. And she started applying some stuff. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Because I could just tell from the feel of it. I said, does that have petroleum jelly in it? Which many of us know is Vaseline, right? And she said, oh, yes, it's basically that. I said, well, I don't want that on my skin, please. And she goes, well, everybody uses that. And I said, no, everyone doesn't. And I said, I just don't care to have petroleum products put on my body. And she said this to me. she said, well, you know what I put on you doesn't go in you. And I just said, that's very interesting that you think that. And I just said, so we're going to just be done with this appointment. And I left. Now I do still see him. We often kind of have disagreements on some certain things, but he still respects what I do and I respect his opinion. But what I want to stress here is that what you do put on you does go in you. Mm-hmm. And today we have so much oxidative stress going on in our bodies. And that comes from not only what we breathe in, but what we touch and what we put on us, from the shampoos to the moisturizers, to the face washes, to the lotions. Everything you put on you does go in you. And so that's one of the main reasons I really started looking at more natural personal care products, because I was like, if I'm going to go to a lot of work, I started about 12 years ago with essential oils, and I thought, if I'm really going to start trying to clean up my health and my wellness, I really need to also look at what I'm exposing myself to with my personal care stuff. And of course, I also looked at all the cleaning products I was using in my home, and that's a whole nother class on some green cleaning products that I have recipes for on how to stop the exposure for that. But that's my main reason for that, but also in the fact that it's simple, it's affordable, and it is kind of fun making that. So we often can call that a ditch and switch, right? It's better for our health. Chemical-free products are better for our health. It helps us avoid those harmful chemicals. And we want to make sure we're using ingredients that are safe and healthy for our skin. And that includes the essential oils that we put into those products. And that's why I'm a firm believer in doTERRA's essential oils. They are truly the most tested and trusted oils on the market. And what I put on me will go in me. And I want to know that the compounds in those essential oils are truly been tested and that I can trust them. And I know I can do that with doTERRA. Now, it's also better for the environment. Natural products are better because they make, it reduces our impact on the environment and creates a more sustainable lifestyle, so that we're not buying as much packaging and things that we have to then recycle or get rid of. And of course, it is more cost effective. It may take some initial investment to have some of the basic supplies like your essential oils or your bottles or some of the things that we're going to need like the witch hazel or so forth. But in the long run, it actually saves you money. Plus, you have to include the money that you're saving by reducing your oxidative stress and improving your health and wellness, right? So let's, another great thing is it's easy and it's customizable. So maybe the certain item you like to buy is kind of natural, but it doesn't have the aroma that you like. Well, you can make your own and change that aroma. And you can also adjust it for your particular type of skin. I know in my earlier life, my skin was pretty oily and I had to deal with skin blemishes. And now that I'm in my older years, more mature years, so to speak, I'm constantly trying to make sure that it's well moisturized. It's much more drier, and I want to avoid those signs of aging, right? So I can change that way I want to approach them. So let's first talk about a hair mask recipe. And I really like this recipe because my hair now tends to be a lot drier. And especially as we come out of the winter months, or if we're later you're watching this and you're in the winter months, your hair is a lot drier and your scalp needs nourishing. And so it's great once in a while to make this hair mask recipe and then just really rub it into your hair and into your scalp. And you'll notice that it has you massage it from the ends of your hair up to the roots. And this includes some really good coconut oil, the kind you get in the store. The extra virgin's even better. And then use some extra virgin olive oil, and then put in about 5 drops of geranium and 5 drops of rosemary. Those 2 oils are really good for, one, promoting hair growth, which we all want a little hair growth, right? And they're also good for nourishing the scalp and the skin and the hair. Now, once you mix all that together in a bowl, it'll take, and you could, it's not too hard to mix up, especially if the coconut oil is hard, it's a little bit harder. So you might want to kind of get it out of and have it sit out in a warmer, like right now, if you're having some warm weather, it's much softer at 70 degrees than it is at 40 degrees, right? And then what I like to do is, if you have one of the scalp massagers that you can buy, a plastic scalp massager, you can even massage that into the scalp really well. And you only have to let it sit there for about 15 to 20 minutes. And just so, make sure you just maybe have a book on tape, or a book on your Audible or something, and just sit back, or even meditate and pray for 15, 20 minutes. And then step into the shower or your bath and wash your hair. It will take 2 washings with any of doTERRA's shampoos to kind of get the oil reduced and get it nice and clean. And you can, of course, let it sit for longer, for about 30 minutes if you want. But this is a really great way to nourish your scalp, nourish your hair, encourage hair growth. And do this, maybe once a month or so. Again, depends on, I know some people who, once you've been through an illness, your hair isn't quite as healthy, and it will often reflect that. So maybe after an illness, it's a good time to nourish the hair and scalp as well. All right, so the next one is do-it-yourself shaving cream. And before you say, oh, this is just for guys, I don't know about you, but I love to use shaving cream when I shave my legs. So this is just as good for us as it is for the men. So again, this includes that rosemary essential oil, which again is so good for nourishing the skin and the hair as well. It includes some shea butter and some coconut oil. This is your regular extra virgin coconut oil. And then you use the fractionated coconut oil. Now, fractionated coconut oil is just like regular coconut oil, except it's had the triglycerides removed. So it's liquid at all, regardless of the temperature. And also it doesn't have a coconut smell to it. And so I like to put in about 1/4 cup of fractionated coconut oil, and then 5 drops of sandalwood and 3 drops of tea tree and peppermint. If you wanted to change out the sandalwood for some geranium, you could do that. Geranium, again, is also really natural, or what do I want to say, really nourishing to the skin as well. And that's what sandalwood is in there for. But sandalwood may not be in your stash of oils, but you may have some geranium in there, so you could use that instead. And then you want to place all those ingredients, except for the essential oils, in a double boiler. Now, what I like to do to make it easy is I have a Pyrex 2-cup measuring cup. And I usually have a skillet, a stainless steel skillet that I put just like 1/2 inch to 1 inch of water in. And I'll I'll put all the ingredients into that Pyrex cup, and I'll set it into the skillet, and I turn it usually till medium, until the water's just slightly boiling, and then I turn it down to just keep it warm enough that these items will begin to melt. And I usually like to use a wooden stick, or I have a spoon that I use. You can use a stainless steel spoon as well. And you just stir that until it all melts. And then you remove it from the heat. And I usually have a towel right there to wipe off the bottom of the cup. And I let it sit there for about 3 minutes. This does not have beeswax in it, so it's not going to harden. And then you're going to add the essential oils and stir it until it's combined. And then you're going to let it sit for just a few more minutes. And then you're going to get out a hand or a stand mixer, and you're going to whip it up. and that will turn it to like a shaving cream consistency until it's light and fluffy, and it will actually store in a glass jar for, again, depends on how you store it. And if you store it where it's too warm, it will start, I probably wouldn't store this in your bathroom if you take really hot showers, because it'll kind of melt that back down a little bit. But it's just a great, if you're going to shave your legs and you want to have some shaving cream, or your guys like to shave, they're going to love this. And the guys like the smell of the sandalwood, so that's awesome as well. So again, those of you who joined late, don't worry too much about taking pictures. I'm going to give you a link to all of the recipes at the end. I have an ebook with not only these recipes, but a lot more. And I will give you a link to that, how to get that at the end. And so you can just sit back and enjoy tonight. Don't worry too much about taking all the recipes down. Okay, so my next one is makeup remover wipes. Now, I know this recipe calls for paper towels, which I think is really harsh on your skin. And so I personally like to use, I have some reusable cloths for, and you can, just Google reusable face cloths. You could even use a washcloth if you'd like, just a soft cloth. But this is for you to not only remove makeup, but just anything that's gotten on that skin during the day. And you may think, well, there's not a lot, but we get exposed to so much. So it's just a good idea to just remove the gunk, even if it's not makeup. But this includes witch hazel, and you want to make sure you get a witch hazel that doesn't have any other things in it other than just the witch hazel. And again, that fractionated coconut oil, which you can order from doTERRA. And this is a case where you want to use distilled water. Now, distilled water has, the minerals and stuff removed, so it's more of a sterile water. If you don't have any distilled water, you don't want to buy it, you could just boil some and let it cool and use that. And then include some 1 to 2 drops of tea tree or lavender, both really cleansing for the skin. Now, you definitely want to use tea tree if you deal with a lot of skin blemishes. Lavender, if you maybe you're looking for more soothing kind of stuff. Both of those are very cleansing, and they're pretty most common oils we have around, right? You want to combine those together in a small bowl or a jar and stir them together. Add tea tree and then the lavender essential oils. And then now they have you use a serrated knife to cut the roll of paper towels in half. And you can remove the tube and you can put it in an airtight container and then pour the solution over the roll and replace the lid and shake it. And then you just pull those out. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you're like me and you just want to use your face cloth, you could mix this up in a bottle and or a little spray bottle even, and then just spray it on your reusable cloth, or spray your face with it. Close your eyes and spray your face. But this is perfectly fine to even use on your eyes and get that makeup off your eyes as well, your mascara and stuff. So I prefer to just spray it. I spray a little bit on my face, and then I spray some on the reusable cloth that I have, and then I just wipe it really clean, rinse the cloth out, and I just throw it in my laundry and wash it up so that I have them again. All right, now this, how many of us want longer eyelashes and more healthy brow hair, right? All of us can raise our hands. So this is a great way to use that empty mascara tube that you have. So after it's kind of like gotten down to where there's not a lot of mascara in there, you can put in 10 drops of cedarwood, 4 drops of lavender, and you could even add 1 drop of rosemary if you'd like, and then use some castor oil. It's a thicker, more nourishing oil. If you don't have castor oil, you could probably even use some apricot oil or some grapeseed oil. Both of those are really nourishing for the hair. And brush on your lashes and brows before bed, and just, brush a little bit in there. Don't try not to rub your eyes, because those those oils getting in your eyes might be a little too much, though they're very diluted. And just finish filling the tube up with that castor oil. And then you can also put it on your brows and then go to bed. And over time, your eyelash and brows will be all like nourished up, right? Now, the next one is one I use quite often, and that is if you wake up with those puffy eyes because maybe you ate too much salt or you didn't get enough sleep, which is often the case for me, then you can use cypress oil. Cypress oil is so good for just kind of getting the flow going. And what I like to do is I have really sensitive skin, so I prefer to dilute the cypress first. So I might put just a little bit of fractionated coconut oil in the palm of my hand and then put a drop of cypress in there. And then I just take my fingers, usually the two here because they aren't as strong, and I just kind of dab that around the bone of the eye. It doesn't take very much, and just kind of let it, you'll notice that it just kind of takes the puffiness down. Now, here's another little tip that doesn't have to do with essential oils. But another thing that you can do that's really good if your puffy eyes seem to stay around for a couple of days is you can get some green tea bags. Brew them, get them hot like you're going to make tea, squeeze them out, and then set them on a plate to cool till they're cool enough that you can put them over your eyes. And then just let them sit there for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And there's actually compounds in that green tea that kind of help pull out some of that excess edema that's going on around the eye. So that's another way to do that, especially if you're finding the puffy eyes are staying around longer than you want them to. That's one of the tricks that I've used. Now, this next recipe is for when you want to like kind of love on yourself a little bit and you want to kind of get some of the old skin off. So right before your shower, you can make use this ginger lime sugar scrub. Now, to be honest, you can use any oil you want, but I like the ginger lime just because it's going to zest things up. So you take a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, get a jar about the size of one of these jars in the picture, put in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar and a 1/4 cup of the turbinado sugar. Now, that's your more coarse sugar. If you don't have, a lot of times I don't have that on hand. So I just use straight brown sugar, and that's fine. Now, I prefer that over the regular cane sugar because the brown sugar just kind of sweeter, has a more molassy kind of smell to it. And then you add in fractionated coconut oil until it's the dense, about a 1/4 cup, until it's the, the mixture that you like. And then you add in 10 drops of lime and 5 drops of ginger. Now, again, if you don't want to use lime or ginger, you could use any oil you really want, but I love the mixture of these two. Combine them all in your bowl or your jar. You can actually then just leave the jar sitting near your shower. And then you can, when you're ready, scoop some out into your hands and then scrub for 30 seconds or until the sugar dissolves, and then rinse with warm water and pat dry. And it just kind of nourishes the skin. It gets off, it exfoliates the skin. This is great to use on your arms and your legs and your feet. This is awesome to do a foot massage with, by the way, and just kind of get that dead skin off your feet. Soak them for a little bit, then do the sugar scrub, then soak them again and then pat them dry. It's a wonderful way to do that and to love on yourself a little bit. We need to do that more. All right, again, some more of my favorites, the do-it-yourself toner recipe. You can do this in a 2-ounce spray bottle. You could double it and make it more if you want. But again, you use some witch hazel and fill that bottle up with witch hazel. I like to add a little vitamin E oil because, again, it's so nourishing for the skin. And then put in about 15 drops of lavender. Now, if you do tend to have a lot of skin blemishes, you could use a little tea tree in there if you'd like instead of the lavender, or you could like do 7 drops of tea tree, 8 drops of lavender, whatever was going to work for you in combining those. There's also some other great oils that you may or may not have on hand. If you have some of the palmarosa, you have geranium, any of those oils are wonderful for the skin as well. Sandalwood is another great one that you could put in there in place of the lavender. You can play with that a little bit. Then each time before you use it, just shake it up and then mist it on your face and then lightly kind of just press it onto your face. Now, what I love about toners is I love to put them on when I get out of the shower because all my pores are open and it just lets me kind of spray that on there. But I'll often in the middle of the day, every time I go in and out of the bathroom, I'll just spray my face a couple of, spritz it a couple times with a little toner just to kind of give it a little moisture and kind of tone it up a little bit. I just love how it feels on my skin during the day to do that. And again, you could spray it on at night before you go to bed. And now people always say, where do you get the spray bottles? Where do you get all that? You can just get it from an oil accessory store or Amazon. I do like to use glass bottles when I'm using, again, plastics. We got to get away from plastics, people. It's one of our most oxidative stress things that happens to our body. So I prefer to use glass bottles. The essential oils work better in glass. And if I'm going to get a dropper bottle, then I make sure that the dropper bottle, here's one I have. I'm going to show you this one. But this one has a glass. The dropper is actually glass. So make sure if you're getting dropper bottles that the dropper is made out of glass as well. So this next recipe is a beard oil that's really great for men who like to have a little beard or a longer beard and they want to nourish their skin. Their skin gets really dry under that beard, or they want to nourish the hair. So you just have them take 3 to 5 drops of sandalwood in their hand, rub their hands together until the oil's nice and warm, and then massage that into their beard as well. And it's a great way to nourish their skin, nourish the beard, and they could add a little bit of fraction oil if they'd like as well. So whatever kind of helps them nourish that up is great. Now, this next hack I'm really excited to tell you about. It's not so much a personal care item, kind of is, but it's one of the biggest things people often tell me about. So I thought I would just kind of show you a little bit about this and I'm going to actually turn off the PowerPoint here for a minute and stop the share. And I'm going to show you how this works for me. So this is doTERRA's mouthwash or toothpaste, and it's a great, I work with a lot of dentists. It's a great toothpaste for strengthening the bones, to getting the plaque off, for gingivitis. It's great for sensitive. I could go on and on about the toothpaste. But the problem is it's a really thick toothpaste and it can be kind of hard to get out. Now, the other product that I love is doTERRA's mouthwash. It's so amazing. It has the On Guard. Both of these have the On Guard oil in it, but this On Guard mouthwash has some other things in it like mishwax, wax root and stuff that's so good for helping your oral health as well. So I like to combine the two, and this is how I do it, is that I have gotten a pump bottle, a glass pump bottle, and I actually took and I started putting the toothpaste till about filled half of it. And then I took some mouthwash and poured maybe a whole capful or 2 of mouthwash in there. And then I have these beautiful, cool spatulas that you can get on Amazon. Or probably just do some internet searching. You'll find they usually come in a set, and they come thinner so they'll fit down through, and I just stir it up. Now, if you don't have this, you know what works great is a kebab stick. A lot of people have kebab sticks in their home in your kitchen. You can get one of those and just stir it up. And I stir it up So it's pretty liquidy. And then I add more toothpaste and I add more mouthwash until it's usually about full. And then I just keep stirring and adding mouthwash until it's a nice, not runny, but it's a great consistency to come out of here. And then all I have to do in the morning is just pump a little bit of this onto my toothbrush and use it to brush my teeth. And that way I'm getting a little bit of the mouthwash and the toothpaste isn't quite as thick to get out of the bottle. So that's one of my favorite things to share with people. It's a little hack on how to use those. So I'm going to go ahead and share again the PowerPoint. We're going to finish this presentation up here. And let me get back into presentation mode here for you. Okay. Barbara, can you see that again? Thumbs up?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We're good.
Okay, so that is our toothpaste hack. It falls into personal care, but it makes it easier to use the toothpaste and do it that way. So just keep in mind that having a natural lifestyle it's a great way to control what we put on our skin, because what goes on us does go in us. And whether it's in our hair, our lotions, our face washes, our toners, our all the things, I just think about it, you know what my challenge is this week or tomorrow is think about everything that goes on your skin and your hair and what you're exposed to that way. And think about how can I be more natural and more chemical free and improve my health by improving the ingredients of what I'm putting on my skin, right? Plus, know that once you make that investment in a few things like some bottles and some witch hazel and some coconut oil and stuff, it's actually more affordable and customizable, and it actually kind of it does help the environment and cut down on that as well. Now, this is an important slide and you may want to take a picture of it so that you have this link. But if you'd like to get an email with the 9-page ebook of all my personal care recipes, which include it includes all the ones we talked about, plus it includes a lot more, then fill out this form at this link, pjhanks.com/personalcare, and the form will be emailed to you and be in your inbox so that the ebook will, and you can print that off or have it. And while you're taking a picture, let me just tell you of one of my very favorite recipes that's in the ebook. I make my own face oil that I put on every morning instead of a moisturizer. I actually do an oil. And moisturizing is really important, even if you have blemish issues. A lot of times blemish issues aren't because your skin's oily. It's more because you're dealing with inflammation and the body just doesn't know how to, it just comes out that way. So if we can do things and include in this oil some things that will help support our inflammatory system, that would be great. So I have a recipe for my face oil serum, or whatever you want to call it, in this ebook, and it includes a lot of different oils, and you don't have to use all of them that are there. You may not even have some of them, but you can start at least with some of the oils and make your own serum. Now, it does include doTERRA's sensitive skin carrier oil, which is no longer available. It was a limited time, but you could easily make this with some other oils that are great for the skin, like grapeseed oil, some black cumin seed oil. Those are all good carrier oils that are good for the skin. And you may want to just play with them until you find what's going to work for you, right? So that recipe's in there. And again, I just have a bottle this size. And again, I always make sure I get a glass dropper to use with that. And then you can see mine's almost gone there, and it's very deep blue because it has blue tansy in there and the yarrow palm oil as well. So at the end of the ebook, you'll find this page where you can like my Facebook page. You can follow me on YouTube. I'm just getting started. I'm just going to be starting to upload some videos there. And again, if I invited you here and you don't have a doTERRA account, you can use my link there to purchase them. as well. So that is kind of the end of our presentation. So let me turn off recording.